everyone, today I've got your Lawless movie review. This movie is set in the Prohibition era, where there are these three brothers played by Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy, and Jason Clarke, and they are all in this business where they're trying to sell this liquor they made, and sometimes they even call it moonshine, which I think is really cool. Apparently some people, they're willing to pay for all that cool, good stuff, but there are some others who are trying to make sure that their business falls apart, and that is basically all those crazy cops. One of them is including Guy Pearce, who is by far one of the most messed up characters I have ever seen in a movie, and it's been a while since I've seen a crazy character. He basically, he did the whole, just slicked back hair, and just, he looked completely different than I normally see him. Can't tell that he did something weird to his eyebrows, but then just his whole attitude towards everything, he really wanted to make sure that he was in charge of whatever was going on in town. His presence on screen was just absolutely, I couldn't tell if I was going to be terrified by him. Most of the time I was, and I was just disgusted by some of the things that he did and just the way that he acted, but it was really, I definitely found it believable, and I would give him an Oscar nod for that. That was just brilliant performance right there. One of the things that he did was, he would just basically be so cruel to women, just taking all these whores in and just basically treating them with such disrespect. It was unbearable to watch, but it's only a movie, right? Tom Hardy, who was another big, huge stand-up performance in this movie, and I knew right away that he was going to be one of the biggest stars of this movie because his emotions towards everything, you can tell by his mannerisms and just the way that he talks and acts, that he, I definitely believed everything that was going on. He, I think, was the middle child. He was the second oldest brother. He plays Forrest Bondurant, and I loved the way that he was talking in the movie. And I know that he's a British actor, and he sometimes would make these little noises, and I thought that I couldn't tell if I should be I couldn't, I don't know, I found it really sexy. It was hot, and he was amazing. I couldn't believe it that some of the things that even happened to his character, I was just what? I was literally blown away by his performance. I won't spoil anything because I think you gotta see his performance to actually believe it, and same with Guy Pearce as well. Shia LaBeouf, I wasn't that impressed with his performance. I think he just needs to find some of these more mature roles, and I think that's why he's not really getting as many. I don't know. I feel like there is something out of character with him. I don't know what it is. I just find it so hard to believe some of the characters that he's done, and I'm not talking about Sam Witwicky. He just wasn't as a believable character, but when he did actually get beat a couple times in this movie, I kind of felt bad for him, so I can understand that he has to play the youngest of the Bondurant brothers, and he is also in love with one of the other characters in the movie. It's Mia Wasikowska. She was also Alice in Alice in Wonderland. She meets him, and they sort of have this thing, and I don't know, their chemistry was okay in the movie. I think she just had a lot of daddy issues. That was just the thing. She had a lot of daddy issues. He couldn't really see her half the time. But when he did, I thought their performance together, it was decent, I guess. And for the third Bondurant brother, who was played by Jason Clarke, I thought he was, at the time, like, I was so mad. Like, he's actually a pretty decent actor. Like, he should have had a bigger part in this movie, which is also based off of a book called The Wettest County of the World. And I've seen him in The Chicago Code, Public Enemies. There were actually a couple people from that movie. In this movie, he was good when he was, like, he was basically a tank every time, like, someone would call him. He'd be, like, their bodyguard, just like, okay, I'm gonna go kick your ass now. I really like that about his character, so he's, like, the big brother sticking up for everybody, and just, like, taking care of business, like, literally taking care of business. Another person that's also taking care of business in this movie is Gary Oldman, and this is the third movie that I've seen him and Tom Hardy act in, because the previous ones were Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and The Dark Knight Rises. In this movie, I definitely saw more, like, I mean, I can tell, like, he can be a chameleon when he wants to be, and I just know, like, as soon as I see Gary Oldman, I'm like, he's definitely going to make a really good performance, and it definitely showed, like, for the small parts that he's done, like, in the movie, he didn't really have that big of a role in it, but when he was on screen, I was like, this guy can act, he is amazing, and I'm a huge fan of Gary Oldman. I think he's one of the best actors around, especially seeing him, like, with a couple scenes with Shia LaBeouf. I'm like, yes, he totally outacted you, son. Better stay away, Sam Witwicky. He was really believable as well, and he can definitely look hot shooting a Tommy gun. He looks amazing. Another character in this movie was Jessica Chastain, and she is one of the best actresses I've seen recently. She was previously in The Help, and I thought, like, I knew immediately that she was going to have a thing with Tom Hardy's character, and that something was going to go down, which, you know, can't imagine that it wouldn't. And she, it's like, half the time I wanted to, you know, laugh at her performance because it was, you know, like, funny at times, and then there was a time where I wanted to feel sympathy for her character, but I thought she really acted well. She really showed that she can be on screen with 3 different guys, and it was just really good, and she really held her own and just felt like this really strong female character, and I really like that about her. Overall, I thought it was really good. I would definitely see it again, because this movie was just, it was violent at times. It was really, like, gruesome too. Like, I was really surprised at how much they actually showed in this movie compared to, like, some other movies I've seen. I'd compare this movie to, like, something that Quentin Tarantino would do, and that this movie is directed by John Hillcoat, and I thought that some of the, like, the brutality in this movie, I was just shocked. I was literally mouth gaping open, eyes wide, just staring straight at the screen, not even blinking. It was crazy how certain things in this movie were going on. Definitely check out this movie if you get the chance, and let me know in the comments what you thought of Lawless, and who gave the best performance in your opinion. And if you want, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Trailer Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.